Very. All right, well, it's 8 o'clock. Let's get started here. First order on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the August 12th, 2025 meeting. Hopefully you had a chance to review those minutes that I emailed out. If not, there is a copy attached to your agenda. Questions, comments?
Make a motion to accept it.
Joe?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Attached to your agenda is the budget report. Pretty uneventful month. I will state that Lot Holdings did submit their $500 lease payment check for the Midas building for the next 2 months, but it's just not reflected in this month's budget report. We had some investment earnings on our T-bill, payment for the executive director's salary, and you can see at the bottom the investments down at the bottom. So that's again pretty quiet month. Also attached behind that is your T-bill status report. We'd like to look at that. As you know, we did renew T-bill 4 last month. Any comments or questions on the budget report? If not, would somebody like to make a motion to approve the budget report as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Greg?
I'll second.
Dan? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. For our committee reports this month, we had Joe Semyon reviewing the monthly bank reconciliation report.
Yes, everything looked in order. I'm signing the papers right now saying that I have looked at them and they're in order. Carol did not sign one of these forms, so if you want to let her know. We used all the other signatures are on here.
Oh, okay. You better do that one, yeah.
Missed one.
Okay.
Okay. Well, everything's in order.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
For our county report, we have Mr. Roll present. Tom?
Good morning, everybody. Most of our committee meeting had to do with updates on the projects going on in Gloversville, DRI, and some of the Gloversville funded projects. There were 18 on the list that we were given, and of those 18, 2 have been closed out, 3 more are finished with construction, and 5 more on top of that have construction contracts signed at this point. So progress is being made in Gloversville. And that's it.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Roll? If not, we'll move on to Christina Van Valkenburg from the CRG, and she is zooming in. Hi, Christina.
Hi, good morning. Sorry I wasn't there today, but I know they say sharing is caring, but I don't really think you guys want to have what I have at the moment from traveling back from vacation. So I have this month's CRG report. No new loan requests were received for this month. The 2025 $300,000 Micro Enterprise Grant Committee met on July 30th. They reviewed 31 applications and approved 19. All the current micro enterprise funding has not been allocated yet. CRG has not received any new FRP since the last meeting. 2 CFA applications were worked on by CRG, one for the site next to Burger King and another for the Weston Group expansion on their building in the Crossroads Business Park. Both CRG and the IDA continue working on several housing and industrial initiatives together. CRG has had several meetings with the developer of the proposed housing site in Johnstown. CRG met with the Mohawk Regional Economic Development Council Deputy Director and their consultant. A group from ESD came to CRG's offices to get a better understanding of our projects. We took them on tour of the county development sites. The Achieve competition was also discussed. CRG facilitated a meeting with a housing developer and a financial group. The intent was to seek buyers of housing tax credits. CRG facilitated several other meetings with some established businesses seeking funding through conventional sources. New York State Empire Development Go Semi team reached out to CRG to discuss the Johnstown Commerce Development Site, which is a positive action. CRG met with one of our major county employers that need assistance with establishing a workforce pipeline. CRG is still working on several housing transactions, and CRG is still working through the New York State grant process for the Empire State ESD grants previously awarded for engineering work on the Johnstown Commerce Park. New York State ESD conducted their public hearing regarding releasing the state-approved ESD grants. We are still several months away from receiving the grant proceeds, and the CRG Brownfield program is moving forward. And that is what I have to report.
Questions, comments for Christine? If not, we'll move on to Mary Beth Schultz, who's also attending via Zoom. Morning, Mary Beth.
Morning. Sorry, we missed the bus route this morning and kind of screwed our whole day up as it started out. For the chamber, we have to report, I was able to meet with the HFM administrative team, and meet with them about the discussion on the next step for how we're going to work together more with the workforce initiatives and the regional workforce roundtable that we'll be hosting in December, the first Tuesday in December. And there'll be some invites going out for that. We're going to be bringing in economic development partners, workforce development partners, and elected officials to be bringing in, so that way we can kind of create one, workforce initiative. We also met with Jim and Alex from Energy Next following my board meeting last month, and we engaged in a networking event at the Saratoga Racecourse. And so there's a bunch of energy efficiency and energy savings that we'll be bringing to our members in Fulton County. We hosted the SPC drawing raffle for the Saratoga Protection Committee. We were able to sell all 100 tickets for them. The chamber is moving forward with working with them more directly and developing their database for them as they have people that are moving on and are not going to be on the board anymore. We have our golf tournament this Friday on September 12th, and we have secured over $35,000 in sponsorships, and we have over 120 golfers registered. This goes for our initiatives for our scholarships, and we're going to be expanding our scholarships and hopefully helping to use more of that money for transportation for our workforce development initiatives with BOCES and FM. We also have a new intern at the chamber. She'll be graduating in December. She's from FM. Her first day was last Wednesday. She is a CIS student, and she is using her knowledge to help our chamber website with updated features, streamlined site navigation and content. So I hope to be utilizing her with your initiative with Betsy of Emerling Designs. And she's really done a great job just in one day. We will be hosting our board retreat for December 12th at the Holiday Inn in Johnstown for our 2026 strategic plans. And that is it. We also will be attending the CRG's tour that they're hosting with, I believe it's Empire State Development Department and DRIs through Fulton County next Friday. 2 Fridays. That's all I have to report.
Okay, thank you, Mary Beth. Let's move on to the old business. Under the Nexus Renewables, since we have Supervisor Ben Valkenburg here in regards to the status of the town of Johnstown's moratorium on solar. Last night, Christina did email to me their local law to regulate solar energy facilities, and I believe that they had their public hearing last night. Christina?
Yes, so we did keep the public hearing open for another week or so. Our attorney did not send the paperwork over to you guys, Scott, at the planning department. She advised us last night to have you review it at your next planning board meeting.
Okay.
However, technically the moratorium is no longer in existence at this point. It did run out at the end of August. So I do believe under how it works, because you guys have already gone through planning and you're just renewing your permit, I believe that you guys would be free and clear if you do that prior to us putting this law into existence. So I'm not sure where you guys are at with that, but I believe that the last time we spoke, that's where you were at. You already went through the planning board and you just need to re-up your permit. Is that correct?
Nexus Renewables, yes, they've already received their special use permit. But then it expired after, I think it was 6 months. And so if, yeah, well, I can reach out to you and we can discuss that a little bit further, just to make sure that we're both on the same page. Prior
Sounds good.
to me discussing with Nexus, but we'll let them
I'll
know what the status is.
I'll confirm that with our attorney, but I believe that is the case where we're at this point. We were also looking to add two moratoriums, one for the battery energy storage systems and one for wind, so we can work on those laws next. So I will forward them to you as well, Scott.
Okay.
And Leah wanted me to ask, and I can do this when we speak, if you guys would be able to do it at I think you have a meeting on Tuesday.
Correct.
Okay. And there was an issue in the one local law. She didn't remove something, so I can go over that with you as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would like to now skip to page 6. To continue our discussion on the Crossroad Business Park marketing. As you recall, last month, I reported that Colleen was recommending that the IDA consider the 25 acres be reduced price from the 550,000 to possibly something below the $500,000 mark. You had asked that I contact Colleen and invite her to our next meeting, and she is attending via Zoom. Colleen, the board was just looking for some more information as far as how the property is being marketed, and if you had any newer comparables that they could that you could discuss with them.
Yes, hi, good morning. So the property, we've had it listed for 18 months, approximately. I had marketing packages made up that I sent to probably 24 different developers, from a list that was provided to me 2 years ago, from Jim Mraz. I really didn't get much feedback on that. We've had 7 or 8 probably semi-serious inquiries, and probably 4 that went a little further than that, but they've all kind of come to a dead end. And I know at least 2 of the people that were interested are working on other projects locally. I know when we listed this property, Jim Mraz had come to me and asked me what my thoughts were about value, and I came in and said to him like 250 to 300, and he said, "Oh my gosh, that's way too low. We're going to get an appraisal done." And you had a commercial appraisal done. I don't have that in my possession right now, but I did look at it with Jim when it was done. And yes, it was a great appraisal, and I'm sure you paid a lot of money for it, but in all reality, none of the comparables that were used were Fulton County comparables. It was Greene County, Saratoga County. There were location adjustments made, but I don't think it was significant enough in my opinion. But I'm not a commercial appraiser. So I did run some new data, and in the Gloversville zip code, per realtor.com, Redfin, and MLS data, the average price per acre right now is about 11.5 per acre. And we're at 21,000. And yes, there is infrastructure there, but in my personal opinion, anyone coming in still has a lot of work to do. There's the feasibility study. How is that really going to be divided up? It was only a proposed subdivision. That land's not really level. There's a lot of money that a potential developer would have to put into that property. So, I mean, I was suggesting to Scott, we get to like 499 just to change maybe the momentum of it, get that 5 out of there. It's like a psychological thing to me, but If I'm looking at the data from the reports that I've run, they're suggesting it should be more like 350 based on that 11,000 to 12,000 per acre. But I think a good start would be just to get it at least to 499.
Questions, comments?
I concur with her.
Well, at 11.5, that brings us down to 287.5.
I think that's too low. I mean, I think the infrastructure is worth a ton myself. I mean, if someone has a blank slate and has put in a road and all the amenities that are there already, I mean, that's just huge to me. I mean, there's a paved road, a cul-de-sac. Yes, I know a contractor has to do some work, but I do agree that it should be at the 499. I mean, I would suggest that. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
499.
Another example, this developer is one of the people that looked at this property was Jeff Knox, that's currently working on Aspen Hills. And those lots that he bought up there, which were already subdivided and there was infrastructure there, they ended up selling this last 10 that he bought and he's working on right now, sold at 15 apiece per acre.
So my question to my colleagues on the board is, are we looking to maximize a profit or are we looking to facilitate development?
Yeah, I agree, because I mean, the property's been sitting there for 26, 27 years and nothing has happened with it. Nobody, despite the infrastructure being there, because it's not like we just put that in. And, you're a developer of a certain nature. I mean, why have you not gone after that? I mean, I know you're not a housing developer, but so
I would possibly look at it. I've done things in Florida. I was trying to bid on the Hales Mills extension because it did have a lot of infrastructure. And we were looking at developing, Hollenbeck's bought that, $50,000 more, $30,000 more than myself, my partner. But, I think, there are some things, because we're in Fulton County, we're not gonna get the money that the developers are getting in other counties, I believe. So, yeah, maybe their concern is they've got to lower their price of acreage so they can make a little bit more money. I mean, the construction costs still going to be the construction costs,
exactly.
whether you're in Saratoga or here or wherever, so.
So at 15,000 per acre, you're looking at 375.
I feel like that's so much more realistic for this area. The median sales price of a home in the Gloversville zip code based on different sources ranges from 170 to 185. And the most affordable new construction in our area that I know of is in Fultonville, Paline Manor, and those homes are going for about 300, and that's your bare basic.
Wow.
I would support the idea of incentivizing movement on the property by dropping it below 400.
I'd concur.
I agree.
We're going to wind up there because the market, I think, is going to tell us that's what the rate is. And my concern is if we're going to do this in 6-month incremental reductions, we're going to waste time in getting somebody engaged with the property. And I think what we're trying to do is get somebody engaged with the property. I'm open to whatever, but I think I'd like us to consider something that aligns maybe a little bit more with Eileen's recommendation to keep it more in alignment with the Gloversville market rather than the broader regional market in Greene County or wherever.
Mike, we're on page 6 with the discussion on the crossroads part.
Do we continue this discussion openly or do we?
You don't know, it's up there to discuss. That's up to,
Just.
it's a proper
Mhm.
forum for, if you prefer to.
Would, at 15,000, if that's what they're doing out in Johnstown, that would be what, 375 that we can count? I mean, yeah, I guess you gotta look at it that way. I mean, the commercial stuff that we've always tried to get up in that park has never developed, so.
I think we change it to 375 and see where it goes from there. I mean, we haven't had movement in, what was it, 25 years? If we're serious about getting this developed, we need to get serious about the pricing.
And I'll certainly reach out to all of the people that have expressed an interest as soon as that reduction is in place and, get it back out to them, the information.
I mean, were the people interested in it? Were they putting in, big apartment houses, single family, mixed use? What was it?
There were different ideas, but it was all housing. And I think the majority, the two biggest interested parties were definitely going to be single family housing.
Did anyone say that the price of the property was too much money?
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, I know this is going back some years, what was our investment in the property for this chunk of property?
Yeah, that's going back quite a few
Yeah.
more years than I would remember.
Yeah,
Quite
okay.
honestly, I know that there were, a lot of it was the, grant funding, but I do know that there was some investments made to.
I know Delaney bid $1,100,000 to put in the roads and the infrastructure.
Mhm.
And I don't recall what the purchase price was, so.
Mhm.
Colleen, just a quick question. So I know you talked about the ones that maybe saw it through a little bit further and then said, not yet. And it sounds like from your opinion, price has a lot to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious, like from that group. So there's a listing price and then they can offer what they want to offer, but no one's still even offered 350 or three. Like, is there an interest to do that with this idea of like, that's way too low to offer? So I guess that's my question is we can put a list price, but there's nothing stopping them from offering 350 so no one's decided to get to that.
I mean, they were all dealing with their own agents coming to me as the listing agent, but none of those agents, and a couple of the people had talked to different parties. I think Scott was one of them. I think Jim Mraz was involved in a little bit of it too, but I just think that at that we were mid 5s to 600. I feel like people aren't going to offer half that number.
Okay.
And they had other, like Jeff Knox, and then I don't know if I'm supposed to say who these people were, but there's another gentleman that was very interested. He's working on another housing project in Johnstown right now. It's not finalized, I don't believe, but he's deep into it. So I just think he saw something that would have been, a better return on investment for him.
So what's the pleasure of the board?
So I'll put a motion on the table that we look to reduce the list price down to 375 for all 25 acres.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Further discussion?
I like 399 better because it just brings the. But I mean, we're talking about change in the big picture thing.
And I would just add at 375 if there's 3 people that are interested. We might very well end up at 399. So I think I like the lower point because there's still upward mobility for us if we attract more than one interest.
I would just say right now it's not generating any income for the city of Gloversville or the school district or the county. So if you get it back on the tax roll, it benefits the taxing jurisdictions if you get development, it's gonna be assessed even higher, so that's more revenue and some development.
I mean, do we need to look at our mission statement to see if this fits or? You got it there, Scott?
Yeah. The IDA's mission is to create and promote economic growth and prosperity for both residents and entrepreneurs in Fulton County. The IDA's role in the Fulton County's economic development program is to develop and maintain an inventory of shovel-ready sites for new and expanding businesses, offer financial incentives as may be required to encourage the creation of new and retention of existing jobs and expand the county's tax base. In doing so, the IDA strives to make Fulton County a desirable place to live and do business. The IDA's mission.
I will also add, and Greg, you can back me up if you want. And Scott, you were there when we went to the IDA meeting in Ithaca. There were two sections about housing.
Mhm.
It wasn't all about industrial or business development. It was housing.
So we have a motion on the floor to reduce the list price to $375. That was made by Dave Moore, seconded by Sue. Is there any further discussion? I would like to do a roll call vote for the vote. Dave,
Yes.
Joe Gillis,
Yes.
Joe Semio,
Yes.
said yes.
Yes.
Dan Rounds,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Relist at $375.
All right, Scott and Christina, I'll send you an email. And if you can just reply to that, that's all I need in order to reduce it, and I'll take care of it as soon as possible.
Sue.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you, Colleen.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day, everyone.
all right. All right. We move back into our agenda. On page 3 and then continuing on to page 4 in regards to the website research project that we're working on with Betsy Emery. I did send to everyone the 4 questionnaires on economic development, tourism and visitors, workforce and job seekers, housing and community services. Received a few comments back. I've not made any changes to it. This questionnaire was also sent to Ron Peters. It was sent to Mary Beth and workforce development. Again, just looking for any feedback on the questionnaire. I mean, I think it's adequate. Basically, the information that we want to know. And the process will be once everybody signs off on these questionnaires. Betsy Emery will then make contact with those individuals from each sector that have agreed to participate in the process.
I guess.
Sit down, sit down, and basically the questions back and forth as well as navigating, looking for information. So that's my understanding from Betsy. So I'm fine with the questionnaires, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone else was comfortable with them, or if they had any other comments. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on then. Flipping around here. On page 4, and continuing on to page 5, with our City of Johnstown housing initiative. It's either a request from Sumit Gupta requesting a letter of support or letter of recognition that the IDA would provide a pilot to the project as part of his application to homes and community renewal. Posed in your agenda, you will see a copy of that letter that was sent. My discussion with Sumit was he was going to have this application submitted by the end of this week. I believe that's the deadline. So from that point, we'll just wait to hear whether or not that project has been awarded the funding.
What kind of pilot is he looking for? Our tree?
No.
No, it's something much different than that.
How,
We had a discussion about that, several months ago, I believe it was. It definitely will not be a standard pilot. And as a matter of fact, I think at that time he was suggesting a $500 per unit.
For 30 years.
For 30 years. Obviously, we have to still receive his application and go through that process, but that's what he was thinking.
We asked him those questions about and he hasn't gone back to us yet. He acknowledged that it's in his court to get that information to us, but I think he's working on the application now, but.
And then we mentioned once we get the pilot suggestion from him, that we would send it up to other jurisdictions, right, to get their feedback.
Yeah.
The school
Yeah.
would think, but it's too late.
Well, that, I was just gonna ask
Yeah,
if
you
any
have-
discussion is had with the school district yet. Simply because it will have an impact on their
Yes.
budgetary planning. And I know school districts have developed techniques to try to minimize adverse impacts of pilots on their budgets.
Yeah. No, it definitely, once we have a full understanding of what the request would be.
But it doesn't need to be figured out before he makes his application submission, correct?
No,
No, but for planning purposes, I can't imagine it would go on before March 1st of this year. Or of 2026.
The pilot, you mean?
Yeah. So
yeah.
for their budgeting purposes, it probably won't take effect until the following would be.
I just want to make
Yeah.
sure there's an opportunity for them to have a direct dialogue with the school
Yeah.
district, that's all.
yes.
And we're required to,
Yeah.
as a board here
Okay.
to.
All the taxing jurisdictions get.
Yeah, but I think there was a discussion before where you really wanted me to go and sit down with them, not just send the required letter.
Yeah.
I'm more than
Yeah.
willing to
It
do.
probably just requires a phone call
Yeah.
with Alicia Coster, just to say, hey, this is what's on the table.
Yep.
What's your feedback? I'm sure she'll be able to recite rhyme and verse of her perspective on it.
Right.
I just want to make sure that conversation happened, that's all.
And at the Ithaca training, wasn't there some dialogue there on the 30-year, $500 type pilot?
Yeah, I've made some inquiries to other affordable housing developments that we've done at the bank, to the developers, and then to the attorneys who close them. It's not an unusual structure to have the pilot be based on a per unit. Now, it's up to us to decide where it comes from. So I talked to the gentleman at Onondaga County, who's their economic developer. They've done this structure of pilot. He goes, but it's up to you guys to figure out where that price point is.
And we should have a conversation with the assessor and
Yes.
say, okay, what if you were gonna assess this as a per unit basis, what would that number be?
Yeah.
So then you know what the benefit is and you can review that.
along those lines, I would like to see, let's come up with an approximate number of assessment and figure out what it would be if there were no benefit.
Here we go. We
What it
review
would
that.
be with our usual pilot and then what they're asking for, and have actual numbers to go by rather than gut feelings.
Well, the reason that the developers,
Do that.
right, and the reason the developers ask for it, because they usually get a 30-year financing package from this combination of bank equity and state programs. And it allows them to set their budget for the next 25 to 30 years so that they can set the rates at the appropriate rates to meet the state guidelines to provide affordable housing for their target audience.
Well, the problem with that is just, today, $500 a year per unit seems pretty reasonable, but in 30 years, it may be like, what are we thinking?
Right.
So.
Well, it will have an escalator.
Yeah, we'll have to
Oh,
escalate, yes.
So not much. We showed how much it was gonna be.
I will also say these HCR applications are very competitive. You usually don't get it your first year.
$30,000 your tax.
It usually takes you 2 or 3 rounds before you get approved.
I've already heard people
Yeah.
wanting to queue up in the line to sign in.
Yes, yeah,
To get units, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you mean to,
Yeah, there's people that have heard about the project and already want to apply to live there.
wow,
Oh, for this project.
Yeah, for this project.
Yeah.
We have a project we're working on at the bank. This was the third application. They got awarded this year. They got declined the first 2 years.
wow.
Mm,
And I shouldn't say decline. The state only has so much
Right,
money,
they got passed over.
so they got passed over the first 2 times.
And the 9% program is much more competitive than the 4%.
Yes.
And so there's a sharpening process that happens with each application.
Mhm.
So the applicant will have an opportunity to get technical guidance on what went wrong with the application and then make corrections for the following year.
That was one of my questions. Did they receive any follow-up?
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, and I know part of the application, he needed to be able to provide something that says the IDA will support through a pilot. But how, without really having the application, we really couldn't make a decision on the
Right.
pilot. So, but does that must hurt his application because they don't really know what the IDA will provide for a pilot. Right? I mean,
Mhm.
if he had an application that says it was concrete that the IDA is going to provide this pilot structure, I would think that would have been beneficial to him, but that's just, okay.
And that could, if he doesn't get it this round and he talks to HCR, why didn't I get it? Then that may be one of the reasons offered is, well, the IDA didn't structure a pilot for you as part of the application.
But
I don't know.
From the bank perspective, we give these letters to some of these developers who said, no, we're supportive of this, but it's contingent on the
Yeah.
full underwriting and
Mhm.
approval process.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're supportive, but
Mhm.
we still need to do our due diligence.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think we could provide that type of letter. Like, we're supportive, but it would have to go through our process, application, due diligence and final approval.
Yep.
Okay, well, part and parcel with that, when we started this process, and entertained, the application or request, from the city of Johnstown. We understood that we were going to, assume some additional fees, legal fees, in the preparation of the option agreement. And the other work that, Kara and her firm has done. At that time, didn't know exactly what that figure would be. But we have been informed that legal fees for the creation of that option agreement and other agreements was $6,192 for the additional services with Kara, and that's our reduced fee price. And I am requesting an authorization to pay that additional fees.
I would love to make the motion to pay Aaron.
Thank you.
Made by Joe.
So close. I know.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mike? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Noes, motion carried. I don't know if you're just red in the face or tan. Who says the way of doing that? Let's see. All right. Moving on to our expertise project. If you recall, we had Ken Adamczyk in last month to give us a very nice overview of what the expertise project is. And at that time, you had agreed that the IDA would like to financially support this initiative. And that it was most certainly in keeping with the IDA's mission to support future workforce development efforts in not only Fulton County, but within the Mohawk Valley region. At that time, though, we were still looking into what the structure would look like between the IDA and the CRG. Had several discussions with Kara, as well as the Weston Company, who is our auditors. And the suggestion was made to provide a prepaid sponsorship and marketing effort. And attached, you will see a memorandum of understanding that Ken has prepared. It has been, I guess, slightly reviewed by Kara, and she finds it to be acceptable. So the basis of the memorandum, is enclosed in the MOU. This being a prepaid sponsorship and marketing effort, It was recommended that, the entire $75,000 not be reimbursed, and that there is a figure that would be on the IDA, which would be the marketing effort. So I have suggested that the reimbursement in the end, after this 12 to 15 month period, would be $74,900, with the $100 being for the marketing effort. We do have Ken Adamczyk here in the room to give you an update from the other IDAs. If you'd like to just give a little quick update, Ken, on where you are with the other investments.
So last Friday, met with Oneida County. They're in. The week before I met with the city of Utica IDA, they're in. Herkimer County IDA is in. They all got the same MOU and they're making their adjustments accordingly also. Montgomery County was supposed to be Thursday. They've kind of tentatively been like, we're gonna be okay, but I was the only thing on the agenda this week, so they moved it to October. So October 9th, we'll have that meeting. But from the way Ken said, he says he doesn't see a problem with it. And Schoharie County is similar. They're just trying to figure out the how, because they don't have an executive. Their IDA is going through a new hiring process. So they're actually looking at going through the county itself. So there's a little bit more wickets, but they know that they want to be involved and they're going to at some way, shape or form. They just have to figure out which direction it's going.
Right. So there'll be 100% participation in the Mohawk Valley.
With the exception, the only one I haven't heard back from at all is Otsego County. But everybody else has been actively engaged, which
So that's
still
six.
supports, I still have enough.
So that's 6.
Yes.
That's good.
So everybody's all cool with it. It's just a matter of now just getting the money in. And I know Scott's gonna head down to New York City with us on the 29th, so he can actually see not our piece of equipment, but a similar type piece of equipment, and so you can kind of see what else it can be used for and how it can go from there. If anybody else wants to go, just let me know and we'll order you a ticket, but
Be a train, correct?
yes, yeah, we're not driving down.
You don't
I
find.
would drive, like, you guys don't want to ride with me. What's that?
Yeah, finest stuff.
No, we're not doing that. Yes. Yeah, right out of the Albany airport.
Right.
Ken, I'm sorry, I missed last month's
Yeah.
meeting. I don't know if I provided a description. What is the equipment?
So there's multiple, so there's one piece of equipment, which is a mobile immersion room.
A holodeck?
Yes, basically, yeah.
Really?
It's gonna be, instead of like, it'll be a 5-sided. Like an octagon.
Yeah.
You'll walk in, it'll have, you and your guys could use it with your CAD, the computer system's all built that way. And have 360 running, or, your multiple screens like you would in a regular immersion room. So that's one piece of equipment. The other equipment that's being purchased is for the schools. That's the virtual reality goggles, the equipment that's going to be used for that, some monitors for some of the schools, and then recording equipment, the cameras, audio, things like that, the mobile backpack systems that are going to go out with those. And then the rest is for expertise project, for the sponsor, what the schools would normally sponsor in for, to be a partner, to be a member, to have access to the site. That's the other part of it.
Okay.
So most of the equipment, which does make this project a lot easier from a standpoint of I can make the purchase and do a large drawdown on the front end and get money back in rather than the long-term draw.
Right.
So a lot of it, I did say to Scott earlier, after we found out we got the IP in finally, which is the proposal, the intent proposal. We did find out that we have to keep X amount of dollars, like 10% of the total grant. Can't get paid out until 6 months after the grant's done, which would be like June of 2027. So, So if any of the IDAs didn't want to like do a 1,500, that would be great. Just because of the fact that we're going to have excess money that's gonna have to be on the back end, and we just can't ever access.
Okay.
But we're ready to just start, once the money starts coming in, we're just gonna start getting this equipment in
Mhm.
so that we can get the drawdown in. And the other update is the MWBE. We finished that, got a pre-waiver done, and it was zeroed out both that and for the service disabled veterans program. So we got zeros on both. That's already approved. They're rewriting our IP currently, and that's done, which was shocking because we turned it in and within a week we had an approved letter back from the governor. So use my government brain building it, made it look like they wanted to see it.
Ken, what's the lead time on the igloo?
So once I have a contract with them right now, ready to be signed, luckily Ron's gone, so I'm using that as my excuse. It's about a 12 to 13 week build out. And then we have to pay. What I did is I restructured the contract because they wanted like 60% up front. They said what we were going to do will work, and then then there's so much upon arrival. And then there's a final after they come in and they teach us how to use it and show that it works. And then we pay the rest of it. So we're looking at it probably getting in here somewhere around the beginning of the year, end of, Christmas timeframe, beginning of January, something like that. And then the training and everything else going from there, which should be good because we can get some lead time and having to give them any more money on that one.
Is the igloo the immersion room?
Yes.
Okay, and that's mobile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
And-
mobile, come. You know, trailer.
Yeah, well, a trailer. Yeah.
Hours.
And again, that's where we're gonna, logo up the trailer with that, but then all of the people who did volunteer, all the IDAs and other organizations so that. I think it also looks good across the 6 counties as it is going out. It's like when you see it, it'll make an impact that, everybody worked together to get it done. And that's gonna be another huge selling point in the whole big scheme of things.
So it's a simulator for
Workforce.
digital based technologies.
Yep. Remember when the kids came out?
No. Oh, it's a CT million.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those videos that were made, they have over 300 videos on the site currently.
Oh,
Of
okay.
different businesses throughout the
Uh-huh.
region, but then there's projects like the water park project in Albany, the
Uh-huh.
DOT project that Syracuse
Yeah.
school systems are doing. So all those videos keep feeding in.
I see.
And then, once all the schools get in, they'll have access to the online Netflix, the 2D and the 3D on the desktop.
Uh-huh.
Then they'll also have virtual reality goggles in the schools where they can do the 3D. And then the immersion room can be used at like Mary Beth's, career fairs, and all of those type of things. It can be used at the college. There's a lot of different opportunities, or even, when we were trying to sell Niagara, we couldn't use it for something like that. Because it's not little. I mean, it's like 22 feet wide by about 18 to 20 feet deep. So,
That's mobile.
it all breaks down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, each floor panel is about 8 feet long. And then they kind of are angled, so they all clip together, and then they knock down, and then the projectors drop into the floor, shoot up on the screens that set up on that. And then there'll be a roof over it just for like a light cloth roof to cut down on the ambient light.
So it's kind of like a ride at the Fond du Fair.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I think there's a lot of other opportunities that we can do. And then once we get to that point and they're coming in to do the training, I'm gonna reach out to Greg and see if somebody from the college can come in and from one of his electronics departments. So that I have somebody else here who's smarter than me in this. But then we're also gonna bring in some of our other partners that can sit and kind of go through the training with us so that there's more than one person. So when I retire, somebody else will be
All right.
in the near future.
Thank you.
Just gotta make a YouTube video of how to set the.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
So last month you indicated that some of the businesses in Fulton County or the region can have a marketing video developed for them, which then could be on that Netflix more or less,
Yes.
right? And then students, if they want to, if they have an interest in, I don't know, whatever it is.
Walmart.
Anything, it could be
Yes.
Pioneer Windows, it could be
Yep.
it could be whatever.
Electric.
They get this, and they access that, and basically it's like they're in that building working, seeing what, the mechanics of what the job and the company are, because that's one of the disconnects we have is that the kids here don't know about the opportunities that businesses here.
And now for businesses, there would be a cost, of course.
Yeah, they would have to do that.
The lucky thing is so far here in Fulton County, because I've been working with that, we have a lot of our businesses that we, kind of helped out, we test.
Guinea
this thing.
pigs.
Yeah, we
Right,
test
it
drive.
is.
I mean, we've been to CT Mail, we've been to Pioneer Windows, Benjamin Moore, Townsend Leather. So there's a lot of, we did one for the college too. So there's a lot of different.
So basically what you film gets projected onto those screens.
Correct.
And the kids are in the middle of that space as though they were on that tour for that day.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's not them listening to us,
Right.
gray hairs, they're listening to
Yeah.
people that are their age,
Yeah.
getting
Okay.
out there. And especially since we're along the corridor, New York Creates, Global Founders, we've done those tours also. So how do we keep driving where these kids can go next in the next set of careers?
Gotcha.
Or how great would it be to get more female engineers? Find a female engineer, get them talking so that other young
Yeah.
women know
Yep.
this is an opportunity for them.
What did you try that you have? You got Pioneer Windows, Benjamin Morris, email.
CT Mail, Benjamin Moore, Pioneer Windows, Townsend Leather.
Yeah.
There's a couple more,
If I could throw something out there for consideration.
of course.
And I don't know exactly who you target here. Because they wouldn't necessarily be big companies, but trades
Absolutely.
are something that are in dire need. And
Curtis Lumber is a huge,
that's a good idea.
Curtis Lumber is a huge proponent and sponsor of Expertise Project already. They have multiple videos on there and they
Yeah.
kind of go to different.
Yeah,
Their
areas.
career fairs, they have the VR goggles
Yes.
that I set up next to her a lot.
Yeah.
yeah,
But that's the other thing is like, is the other one, and I know I mentioned it to Sue, we also want to partner with National Grid because they have that, annual event where they're trying to get the students out there. How great would it be if we had videos done for Grid where they can then use them on their virtual reality throughout the thing, but it'll also be in the workforce offices too, so people can actually see what it would be like to be a lineman or these other jobs that are, out there. So we want to get that involved too, so that they can just start seeing what other options are available to them. And that's
Sure.
the biggest thing. And not just those students, but the 18 to 26 who are unemployed or underemployed.
yeah,
So that's what we're really, out of the workforce boards and the community colleges, because MDCC is a huge, with AIM, Corey, and them guys been using it for a while.
gotcha.
So
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. We have any further questions or problems? Are you good?
no, this coming next month, just that's it.
I guess discussion is. And nicely slid in there, I think possible request to, I think, reduce our refund. Instead of getting back 74,900, do we want to consider getting back less so that they can retain some funds for the tail end of that project?
I think something we can discuss later on.
Okay.
And I would leave.
Do you want to come back to this or?
Here you go. If so, I can leave, but I want to make one other pitch. I don't know if Scott sent out the email. If not, we will resend it out today. Next week, September 19th, we're having a tour If you have not gotten an email, please, we'll send it out again. But we'd like you guys to come out on from 10 to 2. We are bringing in Department of State, HCR, EPA, National Grid, and ESD. And we're going to tour a lot of the different sites and projects that we're working on in the county.
Thomas.
Yeah, we're gonna start at St. Thomas Square. We'll have one of the micro grant people providing you guys lunch. We're gonna do a small presentation there. Then I've got a Browns bus. We're gonna kind of go around and make a couple stops and kind of show how the capital stacking works through all of these different organizations. It's funny because you guys brought up HCR and how do we get them? They're gonna be there in force because they're bringing like 10 to 12 people.
Wow.
But it was also one of those situations where I wanted them to see projects that are done or being through, but also how capital stacking works when we're working one program to the next, or when the DRI is working, that there's been right on Main Street in Gloversville, there's 6 other micro grants that have been given that have started businesses, and they're just, so that's another feed into a DRI project. And then how do some of these things like the $1.5 million that they just got from HCR in Gloversville to demolition grant? It's right next to the LWRP because of the Cade to the Creek. So now we have an LWRP project, we have HCR giving us money for that, and then we're gonna have to get brownfield in to make sure it's clean afterwards. So it's like, how do we continue to use all these different agencies together? And they never see anything. They usually, a lot of them, some of them are gonna be the worker bees. But also, yeah, they may see a shovel, but they don't ever see the end product. And we really want to show that. We're gonna stop at Parkhurst. So we'll send that out again, but please, if you have the time, please.
Friday the 19th, you said?
Friday the 19th, 10 to 2. We got you a comfy bus. Gonna be a nice, we're gonna bring good food. We're gonna, before we bring it back to St. Thomas, we're gonna stop in Mayfield at Zippy's and Higher Ground, and 2 other businesses will be there from that area. And of course, we're gonna buy you guys ice cream. That'll be your dessert before we head back. So, please let me
No
know.
higher ground then.
What's that?
No higher ground
Deny that Dave might have something for you guys. But please, and then I'll just get out of the way so you guys can talk. I apologize. Oh, you could have kept it good.
Thank you.
But thank you for your time. And yes, I'm coming back next month just because I'm starting to feel comfortable.
I'm gonna grab you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, have a great day.
Thank you. The document.
So we're, going to continue on and go to the next agenda item then for now. Okay, sir. All right, our Adirondack Bottling Works, which is our Niagara project. I'm gonna go over that site plan with you, today. Once I share my screen.
Is this the first time it's being referred to as Adirondack bottling? I had that.
It is to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was there.
It's like, is there enough coming?
Yeah, yeah.
This is great.
Okay, now I'm getting old, but I'm not that old.
I keep telling myself that, but it's not an accurate.
Let me get the right one here. There we go.
Looks good.
Yeah. Yep, once I get the share up here, there we go. Doing all this stuff at once here. Okay, the facility is being proposed will be constructed in 2 phases. The first phase will be construction of 362,440 square foot building, and you can kind of see that this is the first phase here, okay, and then the second phase here. The first phase will include 2 water bottling lines. It'll consist of hiring 56 employees. The first phase will use 600 gallons of water per day, or 600,000 gallons per water per day, and the sewer demand will be 175,000 gallons per day. The second phase will be an extension of an additional 149,240 square feet. They will add an additional 2 water bottling lines for a total of 4. They will add 44 more employees for a total of 100. and double the water and sewer demands. So they will be utilizing 1.2 million gallons of water per day, with a sewer demand of $350,000 or 350,000 gallons per day. And if you recall, this is a reverse osmosis process. So they take municipal water, send it through a reverse osmosis machine. That's why there is an amount of sewer that goes into the system. Just some other background information. The water obviously is going to be purchased through the City of Gloversville Water Department. The phase one of utilizing 600,000 gallons per day, all of the infrastructure at Tryon is adequate to supply that. However, when they add the additional 600,000 gallons to 1.2 million, there will be some upgrades that are needed to the water pump station at Tryon, as well as an increase in the water pipe from an 8-inch line to a 12-inch line that exits or I should say that enters the water pump station from the line on Maloney Road. That will be all paid for by Niagara. Likewise with the sewer. The sewer is obviously in the county sewer district number 4, Hales Mills, and will go to the Gloversville Johnstown Joint Wastewater Treatment Facility. All of the existing infrastructure at Tryon and within our sewer district is okay for the phase one. However, when it goes to phase two, there will be the need for upgrades to the wastewater pump station, as well as the force main that exits that pump station from a 6-inch. It'll have to upgrade that to an 8-inch out on Maloney Road. Electric, phase one demand, it can be accommodated by a National Grid. However, the phase two additional demand, although National Grid will be able to provide power on a temporary basis, there would be the need for a more permanent solution. And I have submitted a Fast New York Track C application to ESD to assist in funding additional power, which is right now estimated at around $30 million. It's the same process. Would be tapping that main transmission line, bringing transmission to the Tryon Park, in the creation of a substation, a 25 MVA substation, I believe. So that we've discussed that in the past. No issues with National Gas at the moment out at Tryon. The hours of operation, this will be a 24/7, 365 facility. There will be 4 rotating shifts, 2 shifts per day, 12-hour days. Truck traffic. Phase one consists of 3 to 4 truck trips per hour. That's a total of 6 to 8 vehicle trips throughout the 24 hours. Phase two will double that to 6 to 8. So in comparison to some of the other projects we've had an interest out of Tryon, the truck trips are pretty minimal. Right now, the application was made to the Town of Perth Planning Board at their July 28th meeting. They commenced the seeker process, scheduled a public hearing on August 14th of 2025. The ZBA also considered an area variance for the 6 silos that are located right here in this particular location. They exceed the 40-foot height regulation within the business and technology zoning district for the town of Perth. They held their public hearing already. They left that public hearing open. Second meeting of the Town of Perth Planning Board was conducted on August 20th. They opened their public hearing, which continues to remain open. I expect that at the September 15th meeting of the Planning Board, they will complete seeker and issue a conditional approval, which the condition will be based on the ZBA issuing their area variance, because the ZBA cannot issue the area variance until such time as seeker is complete. So there's been a little back and forth, and we've been navigating those boards, but it's gone pretty smoothly. So just to put it in perspective here, County Road 107, coming in, County Road 107, making a turn, trucks will come in this way, okay, and go, all the way around, the facility. Obviously dropping trailers off here, what have you, picking trailers up, coming back around, there'd be a gate access here. They'll continue around this way. And back out 117. Workers will come in, same entrance on 117, but they'll take, this left here, come around, and this is the, parking area for, workers. They have various, plantings, throughout, throughout the site. There's quite a bit of a discussion about screening, the building, from County Road 107. If you recall, it's a pretty steep bank there, but you know, this site is relatively sloped. So there's a lot of excavation and site leveling that's going to occur. So it's actually going to come down quite a bit. A lot of the existing vegetation will remain. However, there will be some additional plantings made, and I can show you shortly on what those may consist of. The office location right here, and that's really it. That's basically the site plan.
Scott,
Yeah.
what is is there a speculative time frame or time lag between completing phase 1 and initiating phase 2?
We want to do that within the year.
Really?
Yeah, within the year. Year after construction is my understanding.
So, I mean, the expansion is going to then, they're gonna pave all that back lot for the tractor trailers and then start construction on phase 2 right after that?
Pretty close, pretty shortly after, yeah. This will basically all be warehouse.
So why wouldn't they just pave all the way out and down? I mean, the plan doesn't make sense if that's the case.
Well, I guess maybe I didn't understand your question.
So just to the left edge, I guess would be the west edge of the building as it's proposed for phase 1. They've got, I don't know, 30 parking spots there for tractor trailers. Yet the overlay shows phase 2, the structure, the building will eliminate all of that area. So what I'm hearing you say is they're gonna complete this. And then within the year, so they're gonna complete this paving. Operate it that way for a year. And then immediately start phase 2. How are they gonna circulate around the site? If they haven't already developed the parking around what will eventually be the phase 2 structure?
Well, that's a good question, because I'm looking at these right here, and these are the parking.
Yeah,
This is the parking area that you're
Right.
referencing, right?
yep.
That would become building.
Yeah, I guess that would always become building.
To your point, Dave, are they gonna build the loop all?
That's what I'm asking, you know,
Phase 2,
that to me makes more sense.
Yeah,
You build the paving, even if you're not gonna do all that parking,
right.
you build at least the route to keep your system
Oh, I
going.
think they have to, yeah.
And then they can build the addition, and keep their truck traffic flowing.
Right. Well, I'll ask that question, because, yeah, it would make more sense to do that. Now, unless this plan that they just sent me was the wrong plan, I don't know. I asked for the most recent one, and this is what they sent me yesterday, Bowler Engineering, but,
And don't misunderstand me, I'm not criticizing anything, just it's a curiosity, that's all.
yep, for sure.
And I am in no position to dictate anything, just asking a question. That's all.
Yep.
how tall are those silos?
66 feet, I believe, and 61 feet.
What goes in the silo?
So yeah, there's 3 of them will be used for water. And then 3 of them, I believe, will be used for the
Plastic
resin pellets, because they make their own bottles.
Oh, gotcha.
So two of the silos, I believe, will be for the raw municipal water. One will be for the RO water, basically the water they're gonna bottle. Okay.
So my curiosity is, will this have the potential to have the tractor trailers needing to sit alongside of the road?
Right.
Like what we were experiencing at the Walmart distribution. You know, and if so, you know, are they gonna be sitting along County Route 117 or?
I don't think so, based upon the number of truck trips per hour. It's pretty minimal, and I would think that they have enough. I don't remember what the count is on the number of bays here, but I mean, these are all empty trailers, I guess, what you could say, and these are all that are being filled, right? If you're looking at 3 to 4 or 12 to 6. Or
Yeah, I think
6 to
the
8 truck trips.
issue at Walmart is at the distribution facility, so you have independent truck drivers who are arriving maybe a few hours before their schedule, because they have a scheduled drop-off window that they can't miss. So they'll park on that, maybe even the day before, knowing that tomorrow morning my drop-off time's 8 o'clock.
But we don't anticipate that with this.
I wouldn't anticipate that because they're probably gonna be working for them. They're probably gonna be their tractor trailers.
I think it's probably worth a question back
Yeah.
to them is, you know, we've
That's
seen
that.
this in other scenarios. There are some critics. How do you guys address that in the areas?
Yep.
Just a quick comment on this, because I can't help but link the two together. At some point when this gets further and further, this seems like it would be a wonderful business to go in and do the expertise videos for, so that everybody knows what goes on in there, what jobs are being created. It'll help fill those. And it becomes the poster child of showing that we're trying to develop a workforce for you too and trying to promote it. So I just thought the two together would be great, because I have no idea what goes on in a water bottling facility, right? And it would be cool to figure that out, not only for the workforce, but as people in the community start to learn more and more about this project, people assume what it is and what it isn't. People are taking our water out of here. No, that's not, you know, so it's an interesting way to kind of pair those two things together.
And just to the truck traffic point, I would go to, we've got the CG Roxanne facility and there's no truck. They're not
Yeah.
parking on the access road,
Yeah.
which leads me more to believe they're dedicated to that than a Walmart that has.
Yeah, I didn't think
Mhm.
about CG Roxanne, you're right, like I never see the trucks just sitting idle, waiting to get in.
Right.
Let me show the, let's see.
While you're looking that up, Scott, may I ask a quick question?
Sure, go ahead.
So I did have a resident come in from the 107. Is there any way you guys can ask them to put some signage up for like the tractor trailer traffic to have it directed more towards 29 instead of the 107 area? Because if they try to go down the 107 and then they try to make that left-hand turn to go to the thruway off of 107 in the city of Johnstown, you're going to have a lot of issues in that specific area. And that is one thing that our town lacked in the CG Roxanne area, because you have the tractor trailers, because they're not following the tractor trailer GPS. They technically should be either coming up through the thruway to go up 29 to go to CG Roxanne, or if they're coming off in the Kanjahari area, they should be following 10 all the way to 29 and then down. But what they're doing is they're coming across New Turnpike Road. And I don't know if you're familiar with the S curves, like where 116 and 67 meet, where my daughter's best friend was actually killed at that intersection. And they're still trying to cut through that intersection where there's not a very good visibility, and going up 116 and then down 29. And these roads are not meant for those tractor trailers. So my concern is that 107 is going to end up in the same predicament.
Yeah, so it's a perfect lead into this, the next topic here is, the Town of Perth Planning Board, during the public hearing, did have some comments, from folks in the town of Johnstown that live more toward the city about truck traffic on 107. And the Town of Perth Planning Board is looking at, recommending that a wayfinding, effort be made, directing trucks, off of both intersections of the thruway at strategic locations to basically have signage, you know, to the Tryon Technology Park. So that's just something they're discussing. The second thing is the Town of Perth Planning Board has always wanted to make the Sacandaga Road and 107 intersection a four-way stop. Okay. At the last meeting, I had, our new highway superintendent, Jeff Martin, attend, and he discussed that intersection. And he has already submitted to DOT, a proposal, for, a four-way stop here. It's just something that they have to do, even though it's a county road.
Correct.
They provide a recommendation, I guess, but he is in full support of making that intersection a four-way stop. Which in my opinion would probably deter trucks from coming out here and stopping and continuing on. They don't like to stop, but obviously make that intersection safer. There's also discussion about adding signage, at the end of 117 here, or on the other side of 107, saying all trucks this way, coming out 107, and then the signage here, all trucks this way, you know, so they are discussing that, Christina.
Okay.
So, and we'll see what happens from there, so.
All right, I appreciate that.
Sure, yeah, because that's, obviously a concern of the town of Perth. They don't want to see any trucks on 107. But, you know, this particular section here, there's not getting around this one.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah, so,
In previous projects, didn't we have access roads going directly onto Route 117?
Boonville, you mean?
Yeah.
yeah, for this particular site here, this is our large tract, the 115 acre lot. There were, proposals to go on and off right here. On the uniform, but this is the particular lot that that Niagara is looking at, Joe. This lot right here.
The only other way around that would be to develop a separate spur off of the loop. Just shoot up to Boonville along the northern edge of that large tract that we set aside, which would add cost to that infrastructure.
Yeah, correct. Correct. All right, looking at the elevations here quickly. So this is elevations. This is that office section. So these are the colors, the blue and white and gray, which is close to our colors at Tryon Technology Park. These are what the silos look like. And then I have, also, I can show you more of a picture of what it looks like. This is more or less what the building would look like. Those are the silos. There were some questions about the height of the silos and what they would look like, but, you know, the town of Perth Planning Board really has no concerns about what they look like. I think one of the comments was there's larger, agricultural silos in the town than that, you know, and they kind of resemble one anyway, right? So, no real concerns there, but that's what the building would look like, a typical building. That's close up more of the silos.
So these are taken from other Niagara bottles.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep.
Yep. But it's, you know, it's kind of like the Walmarts, you know, they all kind of have the same, everything's gated, all the truck entrances in and out are gated, like Fahe has.
This is all gonna be tilt up concrete panel construction.
I believe that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I know it was kind of a whirlwind of a review of the drawings, but back in 2015, you did develop some Tryon Technology Park design standards. I reviewed those design standards. Everything seems to be in keeping. Obviously, we had those design standards, they're parallel with the Town of Perth Planning Board site plan regulations as well. So there is a copy of the design standards attached. If you do want to go through them, I didn't think you would want to do that. But I will question that phasing plan, Dave, and I will also question the trucks, you know, staging that they have sufficient capacity to do so on site, not on 117. Yeah, so.
Did the jobs come down from 120 to 100? I always heard 120 jobs.
Yeah, there was a discussion at the very beginning of around 120, you know, I haven't, the latest information that I received is what was in the agenda. In regards to an application to the IDA, we'll be reviewing that application at your next meeting in October. Okay. And with that being said, I did ask Mr. Mraz to assist in the review of that application, so when I get a copy, I'm gonna forward to him, just to take a look at it, and he'll be attending the next meeting too, so just as an FYI.
This transaction between Win Stanley and Niagara's still set for sometimes in March. What timetable?
We have a preliminary agreement that they're executing at the moment. I don't know what that is. I don't think they have to share that with me. But they do have an agreement that they're executing. Spells out the terms of their transaction, I would assume. Right. Also, you know, they also have an application to into ESD. Okay, for some incentives. Again, that's between them and ESD. I don't have that application, but they've been working with ESD for some time now. But when we see their application, we'll have obviously a more thorough understanding of what their ask is and what the investment is. I've been hearing, you know, numbers of 160 to 200 million. That's kind of the range that I've been hearing from them. So. Very good.
I had a chance to go through not a water bottling plant, but a bottling plant that would do the same thing. Has resins, makes their own bottles, blow mold machines. So it's amazing how automated it is. You know, so your workers you're gonna need like fork truck drivers. But you also usually have a lab where your lab is gonna be, when we start the run, we're gonna test the water. Halfway through the run, you test the water. At the end of the run, you test the water to make sure that the quality is consistent throughout. So you're gonna have, you know, I think some people probably with some scientific biology degrees and then some obviously administration, but you know, there's gonna be a lot of automation in that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can, if you have an interest, you can go on their website. They have several videos of their operations, you know, internal. And kind of see that, like you said, the robotics and moving the racks and things like that. And obviously I believe they will have 4 RO machines, very large RO machines, 2 per line, just in case one goes down. Obviously, they always have one that they're gonna have to clean and things like that. So there's technology that's something that CG Roxanne doesn't have because they're bottling spring water. They don't have RO systems, right? So.
I mean, it's just like amazing that the blow mold machines for the bottles will do 750 bottles a minute.
Yeah.
And electricity is not a problem for phase 2. I thought there was a little hiccup about that.
Well, so National Grid has committed to giving them distribution level power for phase 2 as long as there is a forward momented plan to have something more permanent, like either a customer owned substation off of the 115 line or a substation for the greater good off that 115 line.
Correct. And the Fast New York Track C application that I had submitted was for the larger substation, the 25 MVA.
For the greater good.
For the greater good. As we know, Vireo has also been looking for power too, so I have been in contact with them about.
And there's 3 more sites that are available for sale that Win Stanley is actively marketing, so getting more power to the area is good. It's needed.
The ironic site, the best place for the substation is across the street.
Just another thing, Boiler Engineering is working on what the grading plan would look like and how much. I mean, they're saying several 100,000 yards of fill is going to be removed from this site. I have put them in contact with Randy Lott, who's continuing to build out this site. But Adam and Stanley would really like to utilize our larger site here and kind of prep that site. In doing so, he's negotiated, from my understanding, is that If that is something that Niagara wanted to do, because of obviously quick access, they're going to have to remove all of the remaining foundations in this particular spot here. Okay, if you recall, you had those properties, those buildings removed. However, the foundations still remain. So, just as an FYI, does anybody have any concerns with that? If that
Who would remove them?
Niagara,
At their cost.
At their
built
cost.
Into the project cost. Do that.
and it's simply from the fact that they're gonna have to move this stuff off-site somewhere,
It's
and
way
this is a
cheaper.
pretty quick truck trip.
Yeah, it's gonna save them a
It's
ton
gonna
of
save
money.
them a
Yeah.
lot of money. I don't know how many truck trips, 200,000-300,000 yards of fill are, but
Right.
I'm assuming it's gonna save them a tremendous
It'll-
amount of money.
Probably cost them 25,000 to remove those foundations, and they'll probably save several $100,000 on the truck trips.
Yeah. So I haven't,
I do with one or two trucks too.
Yeah.
That distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
so that's what they're thinking about, but I just want to kind of throw that in front of you to make sure that we're comfortable with that. I don't particularly see a reason for it. I have looped in Jeff Martin, as I said, our highway superintendent. He'll be obviously involved because I'm assuming they're gonna want to create some kind of access road for the trucks right there. They're gonna go over 117, which was just paved this year. But that's the way it goes, but it is a county road, so
So Win Stanley still has the option, they don't own that.
that's
parcel.
correct. Yep, that's correct. I think that they would need our approval to do that. I would
Maybe
think,
they
Yeah.
should buy it.
yeah.
Come to buy it.
An option.
You're a hard ass.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mr. Nice Guy just is.
It's nice to hear.
Okay,
Yes.
so I guess I would like to entertain a motion from the IDA board, on accepting, the, site plan as presented. And it would be, or approving the site plan as presented in concept, with the condition that the town of Perth Planning Board, approves same. Would anybody like to make that
I'll make a
motion?
motion.
Dave,
Second.
for a second, Joe Simeon. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Vote no. Okay, carried.
Scott, just a quick question.
Sure.
You had sent us information about, Niagara wanted certain covenants put in about odors and
Yep.
other competition, so that's all set.
Yeah, I think that
I mean, they were reasonable. I mean,
yep, there are reasonable concerns. That was the last piece of information that Adam needed to finalize his, agreement there with Niagara. So based upon your feedback, everybody thought it was acceptable, what was proposed, so as did I, so. Okay, well, moving right along here, 9:30. There's no further discussion on that. Just kind of wanted to recap some of our goals. We're more than halfway through the year here under IDA training on page 10. Just some of my comments as far as what I consider, if we've been working on it or not. First goal is continue board and executive director training. We have been conducting monthly trainings, kind of expanded that out a little bit too from real specific IDA things, as well as attending the IDA Academy. Second goal, maintain an IDA presence at the Brownfield Developer Summit and attend one other economic development conference. We did sponsor the Brownfield Development Summit. I was not able to attend, but I forget, did anybody? Yeah, Sue attended.
I went for one day.
Okay, and Dave went for one day, so we met that goal. Commence the implementation of building Fulton County's future roundabout housing hub. Again, we're getting to be more aggressive on selling the 25 acres at the Crossroads Park Housing, which was one of the locations in that hub. Commence the implementation of building Fulton County's future Tryon residential incubator site. Have not made any movement on that. If you recall, that's the lot in the northeastern edge of Tryon, outside of the technical park. So we can have further discussion on that if you would like. Next, building demolition and substation supporting Tryon Technology Park. As I reported, I did submit the Fast New York Track C application for new transmission and substation at Tryon. So that's good. Implement the coordinated final goal of the Joint Executive Committee regarding our shared landing page. We've been working on that right along, and the CDI interview phase will commence this month. Utilizing the county's dashboard matrix and Airtable to track IDA goal in progress. That's something that falls on my shoulders entirely. I have included all of our projects within Airtable. So that is ongoing, and I can show you what that looks like at a future meeting. And then we wanted to have each member attend the board of directors meeting of the Fulton Montgomery Regional Chamber of Commerce, and I think we're working towards that. So those were our goals. The only one that's really blank there is the Tryon Residential Incubator site.
I've got a question back to the website there. We're developing, is there a completion date idea? It just seems like it's drawn
A
out.
long process.
For what?
Takes time.
Which one?
Betsy Emery, what she's doing.
Oh.
No, I mean, it's just,
I mean, she's starting the CBIs this month, so, you know, that's gonna take some time, then compilating that, and then we'd probably need to get the group back together.
Yeah, I would really like to wrap this up this year.
I was gonna say,
100%.
because that's what other people have been asking, our
Yep.
interviews started, I mean, I came
Yep.
up to you about that.
Yep, it's,
Because I mean, if we wanna implement all this stuff, it's great, but a year later, I mean,
yeah,
nothing moves fast, but.
nope,
That's
nothing moves fast, but, we are into the budget season here and already started working on the IDA budget.
Mhm.
And, for those that were involved in some of those discussions early on, one of the questions was, okay, if we're gonna have this new combined landing page, who's gonna maintain it, who's gonna be responsible?
Yep.
Who's gonna pay for it, or is it gonna be a combination? So I think that's something that. Honestly, well, I think the CDI interviews, I think are, important, but I think we already know that we're gonna have this combined landing page. I think
Right.
that was in the initial report that she'd already put together. I think that this CDI interview phase will really kind of maybe provide more guidance to Betsy and how that's going to be structured. But I do think that the concept will remain that we're gonna have this other page that every group will have links from, so. But
No, I just hope that later on there's clarification as to how it's gonna be paid for, because
yeah,
obviously we're bringing up 10,000. With the 12, I think, right now, and 2,000 from.
Yep.
CRG, and no one else puts in, and again, yes, the postal party, I don't know.
yeah, and I think this will be a total effort between IDA, CRG, and probably maybe workforce development. And the chamber, we'll see.
Okay, yep, thank you. I think we're moving along with our goal, so.
Yeah, I think we are.
And the fast track application, we kind of got a favorable indication, correct? From
as fast as they said they were gonna be, hasn't been fast.
right, but then preliminary, they said it met all their criteria, I guess is what I wanted to say.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
and they were looking for a quote unquote win.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Yep, so they're still working through that. Any further comments on the goals? Okay. The IDA mission statement, I'd just like to broach this subject again as we're expanding our involvement in some initiatives. Again, do we feel as though our mission statement is accurate? Or would you like to add some additional language in regards to housing or tourism? If you'd like to add some additional language that's more specific to those items, I can certainly draft that and give you some provide a couple of revisions if you'd like. But if you think the mission statement is fine as it is now, then we'll continue on. So is there discussion on that?
You going or on? You go first.
Yeah.
I was gonna say-
You guys are looking at it.
Yeah. So it seems like it's come up a lot during the year, and I'm not saying it's not under this umbrella, but I don't think it's called out so specifically that people connect the dots. That a lot of effort around workforce development, right? So whether it's Ken's project with the expertise or, being more marketing, that type of thing. I think everything that we're doing right now in creating housing where the workforce people be bringing in other folks, because from what I hear from all of my colleagues or former colleagues, hiring is the number one issue they struggle with. So while it's great to have power and shovel-ready sites, if you don't have people to work. So I think workforce development is an item that we are doing actively, falls under that umbrella, but might be worth calling out at this point.
Okay.
And when I say development, it's almost like workforce support, and we're not, what are the resources we're doing for the workforce that we're trying to create here in Fulton County?
As I read this, Scott, Dave was gonna go first. No, you go first. Okay. I was just gonna say shovel-ready sites for new and expanding business, maybe we should put housing, offer financial incentives.
I think the essential element of my comment was just that I do think IDAs in general are seeing the value of expanding their range of services into housing and tourism support. As it's, I think, increasingly viewed that those are two components, as well as workforce development, are large components of economic development, which is our purpose here. And though the IDA was initially conceived as essentially development of industrial sites, it's evolving. And I think the mission statement should evolve with that. And, I'm always a fan of straightforward, simple, clean language to do that. I don't have any suggestions for a rewrite. But at the very least, if we're not going to mention some of these other elements that we support, that maybe we look at rewriting this in a way that allows us to focus on the idea of encouraging economic development through the offering of financial incentives to build a desirable place to live and do business, something along those lines. So that in the future, if there are other initiatives, that they don't have to be spelled out as such, but it falls into the, whatever.
Bucket. Okay.
The bucket, yeah.
I always think half the counties are within the blue line, you're not gonna develop an industrial space.
That's right.
In the northern half of the county.
That's right.
But we should look to develop what opportunities are available
Yeah.
at the park.
Yep.
And just inserting the word housing is gonna do a lot to the mission statement. Expand it quite a bit.
Because you're really thinking where commercial stuff we're looking at, or like I said, shovel-ready sites, that's means you want businesses here, but
Well, I think it could also mean housing as well, I think shovel ready is a catch-all to just sort of indicate readiness to proceed with the development. It implies new construction, but I also think there are avenues that we can support existing development, and again, I think that's just wordsmithing to kind of figure out ways that imply it so that we're not overly restricting ourselves to just new construction.
I wonder if we could use AI to our benefit, take our current mission statement and run it through Gemini or whatever to see.
You absolutely can. I've been doing similar things with different efforts, and with the right prompt, you can definitely get sort of a starting point that then can be massaged I think there's stuff here to work with. But again, I think maybe on a certain level, we're kind of walking this line of specificity that if suddenly something changes,
Yes.
you know, are we arguing with ourselves about the essential part of the
I think
mission?
we're getting. for a
Yeah,
statement
right.
and Becoming a mission paragraph.
Right, right.
Okay.
So a way to kind of shorten it, get to the point without being
Too restrictive.
too restricted in what we're
Okay.
stipulating.
All right. Well, I'll take those suggestions and I'll work on some revisions, pass them around maybe via email, et cetera. But I think it's important to do that, so. I would like to call for an executive session for the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, for the proposed acquisition of securities or sale or exchange of securities held by such public body, but only when publicly and will be substantially affect the value thereof. Somebody like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Dan, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Noes? Motion carried. Bye, Christina.
It's kind of.
The motion to you.
Yeah, I do have
Are
to
you
get
ready?
going.
Yep, motion to go out of executive made by Sue. Is there a second? Joe,
Yeah.
And I'll make a motion to close the
all
meeting.
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have to make the action
You were
on.
done here.
Yes. You gotta turn it back on.
We're getting close.
You gotta turn it back on.
So fast.
He said
It
you were.
is. Yep, turn on.
You gotta turn it back on.
You gotta get one of you guys to run the Zoom sometime.
See, I told you that. Way back when, remember? I'm like, are you gonna replace you? Run all the Zoom?
Right. All right, so the last order of business, is, I'd like to entertain a motion, for the, expertise project, to authorize the execution of a memorandum of understanding with the Fulton County Center of Regional Growth in support of a prepaid, sponsorship and marketing effort via the expertise project, that, whereby the idea would be reimbursed $73,500 at the completion of said project.
I'll make that motion.
Mike,
I'll second.
Dave, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Noes, motion carried. Now, to close the meeting.
I'll make a motion to
Sue.
close the meeting.
Second,
We'll second it.
Dan,
Thank you.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No, all right, meeting is closed.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone.